Hey guys, this is Heather Petherick, the Career Freedom Coach for Women, doing Periscope number 4 this week. This week we are talking all about career freedom. What is it and how do you get more of it? I want to say welcome to everybody that's joining us live on this Periscope. Thank you so much for joining in this week. I am feeling the love, getting the hearts from you guys, and it's just fueling my efforts here and enthusiasm to share what I know about career freedom with you. So keep it going. Now, as I mentioned earlier this week, Periscope is new to me. This is the first week I've ever been using it, and if you are new, I'm going to share some tips with you. You can, if you're watching the Periscope broadcast live, hello, Damie Mochin. Sorry if I messed up your name, but thanks for joining us. If you are new to Periscope, you can type in your comments or questions in the box below that says the Say Something box. Feel free to type in your questions or comments. I always appreciate that. I'm going to leave time at the end of the scope today to take your questions and respond to those. First, I'm going to get through some of the content so that replay viewers aren't sitting there bored waiting for the good stuff. Hey, Sari Budo. And also you can double tap the screen, double tap, to give me hearts so I can feel the positive vibes from your guys' end. I really appreciate it. My goal this week is actually to get to 2,000 hearts. And right now I think I'm at 1,700 and some. So thank you very much. Yeah, pour on those hearts. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. I feel really confident that we're going to get to 2,000, maybe even today. So thank you so much for giving me the positive vibes. Again, put in your comments or questions in the Say Something box below. And of course, if you love what I'm sharing, if you're appreciating the tips that I'm giving you in terms of career freedom, then please, by all means, share this broadcast with your Twitter peeps. You can do that by swiping right on your screen and it'll reveal some options to share with Twitter or with select friends that you have in your network. So please do that. And yeah, keep those hearts going. I love it. Hi, Brianna. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's do a quick review of what I've talked about this week in terms of career freedom. Earlier in the week, I talked about career freedom really is about 3 different aspects. It's about time, it's about money, and it's about meaning in your career. And you need to have all 3 of those things, and to a different degree, depending on who you are and how you're wired. But those are the things that really make up true career freedom, where we can do the work that we find really meaningful, we get paid what we need to get paid to have the lifestyle we desire, and we can do the work in the rhythm that is most natural to us, when and how we need to work to bring out our best. So, yesterday I also talked about awareness, actually the last 2 broadcasts, that along your journey towards career freedom, you need a deep, granular awareness of who you are and how you are. And that includes your personality, your natural talents, and also what is meaningful to you in your career, what lights you up, and moving your career in a direction that allows you to contribute in that space. The next thing you need to master on your freedom, wow, that's good. I think that's positive. Thanks for that comment. The next thing you need to master beyond awareness to move to more career freedom is attitude. The attitude to move in a positive direction in your career has to be in place. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. First thing, when I was, in my mid-20s and I was having this quarter life crisis, I was in a career, I had worked really hard, getting very far off on the wrong path. You're right, attitude is so critical. Exactly. I realized that for a long time, I was in this sort of pity pool. I was beating myself up. I'd always been an overachiever in school and academics. And then I found myself thrust into this white collar career hell. And I was in a tailspin, and I started to beat myself up like, how could such a smart girl go so wrong? How could I get so far off track in my career? What the hell was wrong with me? And all I could focus on was what wasn't going well in my career, right? I didn't like my job. I didn't like the functions that I was paid to do. I, wasn't getting along really well with the management at the time. I was focusing all on what wasn't working. And you know what? What I learned is that just gave me more of what I didn't want. And it is so true that we get more of what we focus on. So if you're in a similar situation in your career where you're not happy, you're frustrated, maybe you're feeling a sense of career shame. Yes, that's true, Belinda. Thank you very much for that comment. If you're feeling, even secretly, a sense of career shame, like you're on the wrong track, your career results aren't where you'd like them to be or thought they would be, and you're wondering, what the hell did you do wrong? What's wrong with you? Maybe you're too lazy. Maybe you're not cut out for this. Maybe you're not smart enough. Maybe you're not working hard enough. You know, there's all these ways that our ego or our mind can beat us up. And what we really need to do is shift that mindset away from complaining and focusing on what's not working and start to focus on what we do want, what will improve the situation. Now, the mind is a hugely powerful tool, but when we let it run sort of on its own, it has a tendency to go to the dark side, and really just focus on the negative, and that's where you're going to get more of. So it's hard at first, especially when you've maybe fallen into a place of being the victim, of blaming yourself, of feeling career shame, to really change that mindset. Yeah, thanks for the hearts, you guys. But that's really what you need to do. So decide that you're going to steel yourself to the fact that you need to start changing your situation. And you do that first by changing your mindset, changing your attitude. Start to create beliefs or goals of what you do want. Maybe you're unhappy with your income level. So start to actually articulate or at least write down, what is the level of income that you want, that you desire in your life for the lifestyle that's going to light you up. If it's the type of clients that you're dealing with in your career, just wrote goals today. So funny. Awesome, Belinda. That's great. Perfect. You're on the right track. So if the clients you're working with aren't lighting you up, if they're really frustrating you, stop focusing on what's wrong with them and start deciding or determining in your mind, what are the right type of clients? What are the clients that you would love to work with, that you'd work with even if you weren't getting paid? Get really clear on what it is you do want. Okay? That's the first piece, is focus on what you do want. The second piece of changing your attitude to a place where you can start to access more career freedom is to stop comparing yourself to everybody else. And holy moly, are humans good at comparing ourselves to everybody out there. And our worst, the worst thing I find for doing this, and a tool that helps us do this far too often, is social media. There, I said it. I'm sorry, but I said it. And Facebook, I find, is the word. Heck yeah. Oh, yes, Belinda. I know. How often have we gone on Facebook, you know, we got time to kill between appointments or we're bored, and we start checking out what our friends and family and even people we don't know, and we start seeing all the great things they're doing, and we're like, oh my God, like, look at her. Her life is fantastic. What's wrong with me? And it just becomes this very dark, very sick place. And we need to pull ourselves out of that trap of comparing ourselves unfairly to the people we see around us. Because here's the thing. You can never compare your insides to someone else's outsides. I'm going to say that again to let it sink in. You can never compare your insides to someone else's outsides. And you know what? That is all you see on social media, is people's outsides. You see this public persona, this public face that they want you to see, right? They want you to see how fabulous their life is and what wonderful things they're doing, and they're going on vacations and they're renovating their house and their children are rock stars, right? They don't share the personal struggles very often that every single person in this world is waging privately. So going on Facebook is just a trap. If you don't go into it with a clear mindset of why you're there, and don't get me wrong, I'm not bashing social media. I'm just saying you've got to use it in a disciplined and intentional sort of way. So limit your exposure and be intentional about why you're there, right? Maybe it's to connect with friends, to organize activities for you and your family. Great. But when you do that mindless sort of prowling of other people's profile and you start to see how fabulous they are and you start to beat yourself up, that's when you need to step back and maybe come back to it another time. Okay. I want to share with you a couple of resources about this comparing yourself piece that I love. One is, and this was a book written quite a while ago, and it's called The Inner Game of Work. It was so long ago, I can't even tell you who the author is, but if you Google The Inner Game of Work, you'll find it. And it's a great book that talks about, it was actually from a fellow, I think, that coaches professional tennis athletes. And he applied the same mindset work that a professional athlete needs to the workplace. And it's a great transfer of mental sort of discipline and exercise. So check that out. Another one that's more sort of lighthearted in terms of workplace attitude is a cartoonist, which I absolutely love. So I'm going to plug him here. And his name is Hugh MacLeod, and his cartoons are called The Gaping Void. So on Twitter, I think it's at Gaping Void, or if you actually just go to gapingvoid.com. He has the most amazing collection of motivational workplace attitude cartoons that I'm a big subscriber and love his work. So you'll see some great stuff from him around attitude. Okay? So first one was focus on what you want to get. Stop focusing on what's wrong. Next one is stop with the comparison making, because you never win and it is just a torture game. Okay? All right, third piece of advice I want to share with you in terms of strengthening your mindset so that you can start to begin to create more career freedom in your life is stop blaming yourself. Yeah, stop blaming yourself. What I mean by this is that as human beings, we are fabulous, highly skilled at making ourselves wrong, bad, deficient, just in every way possible. And so when we see in our career the results that we don't want, or we're not, always, thanks Belinda, when you're disappointed in your career, maybe you're frustrated that, you feel like you're chained to your desk when you really want to be out and about more often. You don't have the time freedom that you would like, or you're not making the money that you want. We automatically assume that we are the problem, right? That we must be doing something wrong, that we're the slacker, or that we're not smart enough, working hard enough, whatever it is, tall enough, thin enough, young enough. I mean, we're very creative at coming up with reasons on why we're the problem. But you have to stop that. Similar to the comparison making and focusing on what's wrong, you have to stop making yourself the problem and make yourself the solution. That's a shift. And I think we forget that so often. In our career, oftentimes, we're good at playing the victim of saying, I didn't have the opportunities, I don't have the education, I don't have the context to do any better. And that just keeps you in this cycle of negativity, not having the career freedom you want, and being the victim. When really you are the only person in this world that can be the solution. Right? I mean, it's your friggin' career. You're the only one who's qualified to figure out what you want and how to get it. Really. There is no magical solution out on a shelf. There is no book that you can read that will solve all of your problems. There is no guru that will suddenly assign a prescription and make you a rock star. You have to do the work. And you're the only one that lives your life every day. So you're the only one that knows exactly what's going to light you up in terms of career time, money, and meaning freedom. So instead of beating yourself up all the time and really being nasty to yourself, you need to start pumping yourself up. Start empowering yourself with the fact that, every experience, good or bad, every success, every failure, everything you have done up until this point, I don't care how painful or how fantastic it has been in your life, everything you have done has prepared you for right now. For this step. Yeah, keep those hearts going. I'm going to say that again. Everything you have done in your life, good or bad, every success, every failure, every lesson you have learned has prepared you for this moment. Thank you for those hearts. Yeah, I got goosebumps. It's absolutely true. And oftentimes when I'm working with clients, one of the big objections or hurdles that they'll bring up in terms of changing their career or moving it in a more positive direction is they say, Heather, I'm afraid of what people will think. What will my parents think? What will my friends think? You're a well of wisdom. Oh, thank you for being on this Periscope, Belinda. You're awesome too. So that big objection of what will people think? I'm afraid of disappointing people. Maybe you have a career that gives you the money and the title and the prestige that you want, but secretly you're dying inside because you're doing work that doesn't fuel you up, that doesn't have that sense of meaning and contribution and significance that you're looking for. And you're afraid to give up the title and the ego because people will think you're crazy. Well, I understand it because I have faced down that fear, that objection myself. But what I really realized and what helped me shift that and get over that obstacle was that I realized that no matter who I was afraid of disappointing, is that they were not living my life. They didn't have to get up every day and go to a job that felt like it was gnawing away at my soul, or that was starving my bank account, or that was keeping me a slave to, a workday that totally felt unnatural to me. They were not living my life every day. They didn't know that personal struggle, that internal, torment that I felt being in a career that did not suit me. So when it came to, the fear of disappointing my parents or my friends saying, "What the heck? Why'd you quit that job? It was awesome." I had to understand that they didn't know what was going on inside. And the cool thing is once I developed the courage to get over that fear and worry more about my life, my desires, and what I knew was right for me, suddenly I became happier. I became more effective, more successful. I was more energetic. I had more to pour into my work. It's like I flipped a switch and suddenly all the things that had held me back suddenly were gone. And I just became lit up in my career. And the people who loved me most, the people who I was most worried about disappointing, actually became my biggest cheerleaders because they saw the change. They saw the spark in Heather again. And they saw that energy and that enthusiasm and that optimism and that drive to do good work. And they were my supporters. So it's funny how our own brain can throw up these objections and these fears about what might happen. But when we really start to focus on what's right for us in our career, who we are, how we need to work in terms of our personality, what we find most meaningful and what we desire, when we focus on that and finding a way to achieve it, all of those people suddenly become on board. They're on side. And if they're not, then maybe they weren't the supporters or the people that really had your back like you thought they did. So that's the 3 pieces of wisdom that I wanted to share with you today, and it's all about attitude. If you are determined to move your career in an area of more freedom, you want the time, the money, and the meaning in your career that you know is going to light you up, you got to get your attitude right, okay? So just to recap, focus on what you do want to get. Stop being in that negative swirl of what's not working and what you don't like. Stop comparing yourself to everybody else because you are waging your own private battle and you have no business comparing yourself to anyone else. And number 3, stop blaming yourself. Stop making yourself wrong because really, you're the only person with the answers. Cool. Tough love, but totally true. And I've lived every one of these lessons, so I can speak from a place of integrity and confidence that this is one of the key things that I had to master on my own journey to career freedom. So we're at the end of the content now. I wanted to open it up to the people who are listening live to this Periscope broadcast. Feel free to type in your questions. Ask me anything you want about anything I've shared today or my own journey or anything that's going on in your career as it relates to career freedom. I would be happy to respond to it now in the time that we have. Yeah, and give me more hearts. Love you guys. Questions. Who's got some questions? Comments. Come on, you guys. Let me hear from who's out there, or just tell me where you're from, where you are dialing in, listening live from. I would love to know. As always, if you are inspired or love what I have shared with you today, please share it with your Twitter followers. Hi, Free99. Oh, Belinda's from Calgary. Hello, Calgary. That's fantastic. We're almost neighbors. Any questions or comments from you guys that are listening? Just a heads up that tomorrow is my last Periscope broadcast. I would like coffee with you. Well, here's my coffee cup. I'm a Starbucks fan, good quality coffee. So cheers to you. There's a virtual coffee date. Tomorrow in this week's last Periscope broadcast, I'm going to share with you the 3rd thing that I had to master along the journey to career freedom. First thing was awareness, who I am, how I work. Second piece today was attitude. Oh, hi from Toronto, free 99. And tomorrow I'm going to share with you ownership, like really owning your career and what that looks like and specific things that you can do to really start taking action and moving to a place of more career freedom. Okay, Belinda says, just did a Periscope today, studio tour, but envisioning other things to share after watching you. Great. I'm happy I have been a source of inspiration for you today, Belinda. Any other questions or comments? We've got people from Toronto, people from Calgary. I think yesterday I had somebody on from overseas, which was fantastic. So I want to thank you for participating. I'm going to wrap things up. Last Periscope about career freedom is tomorrow. Please keep sending those hearts. Even if you're watching the replay, send those hearts. We're trying to get to 2,000 by the end of the day tomorrow. Thanks, Belinda. We'll see you soon. Also, you'll see this replay loaded on my website after the link goes down on Periscope, and my website is heatherpetherick.com. So share with your friends, and the blogs or the videos will be on my website forever and ever to share always. So thank you very much. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.